good lens.
I am getting better.
You know what I was thinking?
What?
What do you look like you're consumed with something right now?
I'm just trying to make sure that was live. Trying to get everything live here.
I guess I didn't realize how much we miss Connor right now.
It's an extra hand.
We need the extra hand. What?
It used to be just the two of us, but I was just doing one camera.
I know.
Now doing 5.
2. You were doing 2. We always did 2.
We introduced the Facebook towards the end.
We did.
It was used to just be me with the Periscope. And now we do the things, but also like over the course of time, he's started doing things that I didn't do. So like I've never managed the YouTube, the YouTube live thing. So I need to figure that out. I haven't managed the Instagram live. So there are now these extra things that I do.
But even though it's a pain, it's good to be forced to figure it out.
Yeah, but then at the same time, there are other things that I wasn't doing before that I also like to publicize things and things like that.
Anyway, so I mentioned this much earlier on in the broadcast, but there was a fire in our neighborhood last night. It was 3 blocks from our apartment, and I got a frantic call from my mom, and she wondered if we were okay. And I often forget about a huge thing that happened in my life. I'm not even sure if I ever mentioned this on the show. And you probably don't even know anyone in your life that this has happened to, but our entire house burned down when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
Lost everything. I was 8 years old, maybe 9. Mom, correct me if you're listening. My brother was probably 5 or 6. We were living in Haiti, and we weren't vacationing there. We weren't there for a week or 2. We weren't having just moved in. I mean, we were there for years. Everything we owned was there. All our family albums, all our pictures, our bedroom, our entire house, our pets, everything. One weekend, in all the years that we were in Haiti, one weekend, literally one, my parents went and decided they were going to take like a vacation in Haiti. Even though we have our own beach house, we used to go away sometimes on the weekends, sometimes we'd stay. But for whatever reason, randomly, this is why sometimes maybe there is a God, I don't know. But one weekend, my parents decided they were going to go to Club Med. So in order for them to do that, they sent us to our friends, the O'Haines, and we spent the weekend at Michelle O'Haines' house, my brother and I, and they had 2 kids, and my parents went away for the weekend. And we brought the pets with us. Normally we have a wonderful guy that takes care of our house, and we leave the pets, we had 2 dogs, we leave the pets with him. But we gave everybody off for the weekend for whatever reason, and we brought the pets with us, the kids, to stay at the O'Haines. In that one weekend, as in the first time the 4 of us, including the animals, and everyone that worked with us at the house had ever left, we think an electric wire must have snapped and sparked and hit my bedroom, I believe. Our rug caught fire immediately. There is no organized fire department in Haiti. There's a lot of people who have water buckets, but that's really the gist of it. And within an hour, 2 hours, our entire house went up in flames. The neighbors took pictures of it for us. I'm not sure why, but we have these pictures of our home. Everything, every single thing we own burnt to a crisp. And my parents came back from the weekend. There were no cell phones at the time. There was no way to get in touch with them. Can you imagine pulling back into your house and the whole house has burnt to a crisp? So my mom and dad quickly decided they weren't going to let us come in. So we couldn't come in for a couple days. So they took us, my mom drove us back to the O'Haines, and my parents came back to just walk around and see what was left. And this to me is the most unbelievable thing of all. So everything was burnt down to a crisp. We really lost everything. And my dad was going through the rubble. Listen to this, Lance, this is interesting. He's going through this rubble and the ash and the dirtiness and everything, and he had a wooden armoire in his bedroom, and within the armoire, which was basically burnt down, there was maybe like half of a shelf that was left. And underneath a whole pile of soot, there was a charred bag, or what looked like a bag with like a zipper. and he didn't know what it was, and his eye caught his attention, and he walked right over there and he picked it up and he unzipped it, which somehow managed to withstand the fire, and he pulled it out, and guess what it was? It was my dad's tallis.
Oh, wow.
My dad's tallis was the only thing.
What is a tallis, just for people that...
So a tallis is this religious, almost scarf, if you will, and you wear it around your neck once a boy is or girl now is bat mitzvah. You wear it into a temple when...
John's about to cry.
It was the most remarkable thing. I didn't even understand it at the time. My father cried. My mother cried. If I tell you everything burnt except something that should have burned, it was material. It was in an armoire with all of his other clothes, which all burnt. How does that happen? Tell me where and when and why and how does that happen? So I can't ever fault my father for being ever so slightly disappointed if, I don't have my kids in Hebrew school, or, if they're not taking Hebrew lessons early on. If the fact that, I eat shrimp, like I understand, the same way my grandfather rolled his eyes just a little bit when I bought, when I finally was making enough money, I bought with my own money a small BMW. I've always wanted it. He didn't ever want us to have a German car. Germany was always the end, whatever. So this happened in Haiti, and it just instilled in him this sense of tradition and religion, and he's not the most religious person in the world, but he raised us to be that way. So we moved into...
John says this is the best story he's heard.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's so true, and I don't know how I have not thought about it up until now, until yesterday when they were saying on the news these people lost everything they owned and had to go live in a shelter, and I said, why does that sound so eerily familiar? So we had nothing. We got a lot of donations from friends just for clothes, and we went to live in an apartment. And it took a year, and my parents were hell-bent on making sure we rebuilt that house. They didn't want to go somewhere else. We rebuilt the same house, and we lived for a year. We were complete walking, living, eating, breathing proofs that you don't need stuff to exist. You need each other. That's all you need. Right? Because we existed with all that stuff in that huge house, and guess what? We existed just fine in a small 2-bedroom apartment with just us. And you come to appreciate a lot of things when you are left without a lot of things.
Lori is asking if your parents were missionaries?
Not missionaries at all. My father had a leather manufacturing company in Haiti, and the offices were in New York. So we were down there because he had business. We were locals. We were locals down there. We weren't down there with AID, we weren't down there with the government, we weren't sent down there. We went down there willingly, or at least my parents did, and that's why they were living in a third world country. But I want to make sure that...
John's saying his factory burnt in 2014 and they worked out of a small trailer until it was rebuilt.
Yeah. It's, if you have will and you have determination to make sure something's going to happen, then by all means, something is going to happen.
My grandmother and her sisters and her parents used to live on a farm in Ellenville, and the farm burned down. And the story of our family is when the farm was burning down, they were in the house. They were there as it was burning, and they needed to get out of the house. And so my great grandfather goes into my grandmother, and my grandmother's name was Sarah. And he says, Sarah, shush, still, the barn is burning. And they just walk out quietly. Like, that's just, don't panic, just like.
Well, but piggybacking off that story, you know how people say if your house is burning down and you can run in and grab one thing when you grab it, and my answer was always the same thing ever since that happened, and it's just nothing. You just grab yourself and your family and you just walk out. Everything is replaceable because it's a thing, right? You're not replaceable. You get yourself out of there. And shortly after that, there was a movie, and I'm sure you've seen it, about, I don't remember it except that I remember how much of an impact it had on me, unlike any other movie. It was about a bunch of factory workers, maybe it was called The Triangle or something, Jewish factory workers, and they were all trapped in a building in a huge, awful fire. Does anyone remember this? Was it The Triangle? Something about a triangle? It's all I remember.
Triangle in like North Carolina?
No, it was in New York City, I think.
I don't know that story.
I bet you John knows it. Anyway.
John does not know the story.
No, it's not a story. It was a movie.
A movie.
It was a movie. I wanted it had something to do with triangles. It was these factory workers in like the 1920s or something. And they were all trapped in this building and there was a fire and they all died. And that had almost more of an impact on me than it happening to me. But it goes to show, I mean, my parents...
My boy said the triangle fire killed lots of women. The triangle fire.
The triangle fire. What is that? That was a real thing?
That was...
Wow. Anyway, that's what it was. I thought that was the name of a movie. I thought it was a movie. I didn't know if it was a real thing. But, I mean, look at what my parents did. How my parents protected us to the point where we weren't scarred or like emotionally bruised from something so profound and something so impactful in our lives, yet we moved on almost seamlessly.
Yeah, it was the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire in New York City on March 25th, 1911 was the deadliest industrial disaster in the history of the city and one of the deadliest in U.S. history. The fire caused the deaths of 146 garment workers, 123 women, and 23 men who jumped from the fire. Smoke inhalation, are falling, or jumping to their deaths. Most of the victims were recent Jewish and Italian immigrant women aged 16 to 23. Of the victims whose ages are known, the oldest victim was Providenza Pano at 43, and the youngest was 14-year-olds Kate Leone and Sarah Rosaria Maltese. It was located on the 8th, 9th, and 10th floors of the Ash Building at 23 to 29 Washington Place in the Greenwich Village, neighborhood of Manhattan, now known as the Brown Building and part of NYU.
So that was there must have been a movie of it, and we watched that. And we watched that
in popular culture
after moving back into the house, I want to say maybe. But as a result, we lost, I mean, you know, you guys all have these beautiful family heirlooms and home videos.
HBO did a thing, Triangle Remembering the Fire. There was a New York documentary. There were a few documentaries.
So I must have seen a documentary of it. But it had a really deep impact on me. I would not watch it if I were you. It was terrifying. Although I was like 8, so maybe that's why it was so terrifying. But we don't have any more old home videos anymore. You know, we have some old pictures and some things that we had sent up to New York before the fire, but most of that stuff we lost in the fire, which is so horrible. But it's one of those things that you would never in a million years think about or put yourself in or imagine or envision being a part of.
Yeah, PBS did a whole thing around it.
So that was that. I was just thinking about that when I was thinking about the fire, because you watch the news and then it's over and the next day you're on to something else, but those people that lost everything they owned last night, like think about what today brings.
Marvin actually is saying that he was walking towards his parked car when he paused because I left something in my house. When he came back, a multi-car accident occurred right there.
Isn't that crazy? So, you know what? The other thing I was thinking about is sometimes we curse God and we're like, oh, why would God let this happen to me? Or why did this happen? But what you don't realize is how many times you have skirted death, how many times you have made decisions that you don't know about that could have caused something had you known about it. And I don't know if there is a God, and I don't know if that's God's
There were all
doing.
these people like in 9/11 who
never went to
late
work
or
that
that or this, that, the other thing. They were up late because of the Giants-Broncos game.
And what do you make of that? What does that mean? Is that someone protecting you? Is that life? Does life sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down? How do you put that into words? How do you wrap rationale around that?
Right, and it's tough to do that, like around a single event, like just because you could also go the other way, which is these things were allowed to happen, and there were a whole bunch of people who lost their lives, and who didn't happen to get that lucky piece of fate, and that's why there are thousands of people who died that day, like on 9/11. And so
it's really hard.
For every lucky person, there was a whole bunch of unlucky people.
Yeah, you're right.
Lori Kay had a car in a garage, burned in-laws' house to ground. It wasn't running.
I mean, and 2 days before Christmas to have all your stuff burned down like these people did the other night, it's just But they made it out, and nobody was killed, thank God.
John is saying the fire may have happened to cherish your father's talisman.
You're right. Look, it takes a very, 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 and I don't even know if one exists, but an extremely, and probably as strong as you could find, strongest man, woman, child, to be able to find a speck of positivity when something like that happens to you. It takes every ounce of will you have to be able to say, well, at least such and such. And I think that because it was not, this monumental thing that happened in our lives, my parents made sure that for us, we were able to, I think they instilled that on us, that strength to be able to.
Sherry Stretch was saying when she was a kid, her house burnt down.
Gosh, Sherry, you and I are like connected somehow. That's crazy. It's crazy.
She's saying that they lost everything.
Yeah, so did we, and we started all over again.
Tragedy makes us stronger.
I assume my mom isn't watching on Facebook, otherwise she would have piped in, probably. Yeah.
Tony Kendall, when I was 4, I saw my late dad's bowling center start on fire. I was the first to see it and immediately told my dad, and we all got out.
That's crazy. The burden to
All right, the fire segment. Wow.
Sorry.
Okay, so.
What?
No, I mean, it's a hard segment.
Yeah, it's a hard segment, but maybe it's also a good segment. Like we survived.
Like before the holiday.
Yeah, but there's a lot. It's a lot going on. We're all going through something, and I say this all the time. Be kind to people. Nobody knows what battle everybody's fighting. So we've all got things going on, and we're all trying to just be the best people we can be. I think I've gotten nicer as I've gotten older, more patient, more understanding.
I've become more of a jerk.
And then I've wrapped that up.
I've actually found that you can get really burnt if you're nice. I don't know. I think I don't have enough in me.
But I don't think that
I'm a really
nice.
bad disciplinarian, like you were talking about, with the kids earlier, and I just don't have it in me to fight with my kids, and I don't do a good job when I do fight. John say I have to pay more alimony as I get older. It's actually less, John, because as time goes on, you don't have to pay. First of all, well, I don't know my situation. Who knows? Mine's so complicated, but in general, if you're not good at being mean, it's a very hard thing to do. So I actually found when I coached, I was able to be mean. But
what does mean look like to you?
Please stop doing that.
Give me an example. Give me an example of me. You're coaching baseball.
Coaching baseball. It's when I'm coaching baseball, it's I want your arm up over here. I don't want your arm down there. And I say it in front, as opposed because it's in front of a whole team, so it tends to embarrass the kid. And I would normally just want to bring the kid to the side and talk, but he's on the mound in front of a whole team and it's practice. And I will tell the kid, to do it, and there's practice there.
In softball, being mean is walks as good as it hit, walks as good as it hit, walks as good as it hit, walks as good as it hits. We used to get all excited about that.
Lance, Love Bugaboo just said something to Jenna really nice, worth asking him to repeat. Please repeat. I didn't see it because I was talking.
What's that?
I don't know what Love Bugaboo said. Love Bugaboo. John, can you paraphrase it for me, maybe? I don't know. Irish Girl Runs says that her mom is battling cancer for the 4th time. I will cherish this Christmas with her.
Yes.
As this is my daughter's first Christmas as well.
Okay, that just gave me the chills.
Yes.
We talked about something earlier called Be Here Now, and if anyone should embrace that, it's you.
Jenna is amazingly inspirational while she was in some depression. Love Bugaboo had some depression, and you helped bring her out of.
Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate
Sorry
it.
for interrupting.
If in some small, feeble way I can help make you feel better by telling you what I went through, I did the same thing with other people. It helps to know that you're not the only one on this train, It helps to know that you're not the only one in this world going through whatever it is you're going through. And the person who told me that her daughter, I believe, it's her first Christmas and her mom is battling cancer again. For the fourth time. All I can say is, don't cry about her being sick, and don't worry that this could be a last or your kid's first. Like, don't make it too big or make it too little. Just be in it. Just be happy about your kid and be happy that your mom's there, and take as many mental snapshots as you can and remember it for the rest of your life. And I'm with you and I'm praying for you and your mom, and I hope everything's okay.
Okay, I'm just going to try. So John is saying that was the most inspirational thing he's seen anybody say. I'll try to, when I rewatch what Love Bugaboo said about you.
Oh, Love Bugaboo, can you say it again? I want to hear it.
Yeah, so I will be able to rewatch. We'll rewatch the Periscope, and we'll get it. We'll screenshot it or something. We'll figure out we should be doing that anyway with some of this stuff.
Well, if you are still on, what is it, Love Bugaboo?
Mark the time, John. I'm giving it about 20 minutes in, so I will.
Say it again.
But she might not be in the room. It looks like she's not in the room again. John tried to paraphrase it. So.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for catching, John. Carla's Lee said, yeah, that's what I was thinking, John. Merry Christmas from South Mississippi.
Merry Christmas, Carla Lee.
Ryan K. Olson says, miss seeing you on TV.
You see me right here. I appreciate you saying that. We're gonna focus on this for a little while.
Kamish 143 said it happened to give you hope. I guess referring to the loss situation. Okay, I think we're caught up. So, where do you find your strength from? Where do you sort of you're able to generate a lot of this internally that a lot of people can't. Like, you have this ability to fight inertia.
I think it's because a lot of people put tangible weight to their problems, right? So you have a problem and you actually associate tangible weight to it, and it suffocates you and it holds you down, and it provides you with an inability to either move past it, work past it, or live past it. And I feel like I have been fired enough. I've lived in enough countries. I've seen the bad, the good, all of it. I've been through a lot where I used to live my life in peaks and valleys. And the bad thing about living in peaks and valleys is that you live your life like this, where every day is either the best day or the worst day. And I was fine living like that. The good thing about that was that if it's bad, you know that the next thing that's coming around the corner is going to be great. So if you're going through a really shitty time right now, are you able to say it can't be like this forever? Something good has to come? What? Well,
John is saying the good, the bad, and the ugly are like on Periscope, Sherry, Darren, and John. Sure. And actually, Kayla Elise, who was the one who was on Periscope, said it wasn't working on Periscope. Thank you so much for being a role model, motivation, and inspiration in the time that I was going through depression. It meant so much and it helped so much. I love and appreciate it so much, and words can't express how grateful I am. And Be Here Now says, I love your perspective.
Amazing. Thank you to you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate you appreciating it. All I want to do is, I love sharing what I have gained. I love sharing my perspective. I like making you laugh, but I also like pushing and motivating. I love being able to take the best out of someone. I love someone who thinks that they've got nothing left to give, or they're depressed, or they just feel like they've hit a wall, and I love being able to reach in and pluck out something amazing and hand it back to them and say, look, this is what I see. Maybe it's not what you see, but this is what I see right now, and until you can see this, you're never going to get better. So that's what I like doing.
Who have been your role models, like your motivational role models in these battles? And Kayla, at least to put this in perspective, is saying, especially, I love and appreciate it so much, and words can't express how grateful I am, especially now that I'm 18.
You're 18 years old?
And you gave this to her.
Wow. That's amazing. It's amazing that you are wise beyond your years to even know and have such self-reflection to know that you are happy or sad. When I was 18, like pimples made me sad, and Michael J. Fox made me happy. And look where you are, and look where I was. And you are just, what you're not realizing is how many years ahead of your age you actually are to be able to look inside yourself and say, I'm profoundly unhappy about something, or I am profoundly happy, or your words have moved me. The ability to let someone's words move you, the ability to be inspired by someone, don't slosh that off. That's fantastic. That means you're open to things, you know? You're open to be moved and challenged and loved, and gosh, that is an amazing, amazing skill. And you should take that with you and carry it around the rest of your life. And there are days that are going to suck. And then there are days that are going to be amazing. Every day can't be amazing, because if every day were great, you would never know what great means, right? You can't only get good news, because then you would never know what good news meant. Only way to know what good news means is by knowing what bad news means. The only way to win is to lose. That's what I tell people all the time. The only way to win is to lose. Like, you want me to be perfectly honest with you? I would have loved to be able to co-host the 10 o'clock hour on the Today Show. Like, I thought that was my dream. Like, that's all I wanted. They didn't want me. They didn't think I could do it. Well, I could either say, you know what? That sucks. I suck. I'm terrible. I'm not good enough to do that job. It's never going to work out for me, and be bummed out and go somewhere else and, I don't know, be depressed. But I couldn't let that happen. I had to just use that and let it fuel me to try something else and get good at something else, and maybe somehow, some way, I work my way back into some semblance of a similar position, which is what I think I'm doing. The reason I wanted to be on that show is because there was a platform to be able to speak what's on your mind and be funny and react and witty and engaging. Well, now I get to do it myself, and maybe eventually I'm sitting down next to someone. So you have to be able to lose in order to be able to win. And if you really truly understand what that means, you're the one that's going to benefit from that. And you did the same, Lance, right? There were really crappy things that happened to you in life, and as a result, you learned lessons and you moved on.
There were.
Divorce, business.
Life happens.
Life happens.
It's all good as long as you wake up the next day. John is not saying divorce. John's saying marriage.
The divorce was the happy part. The marriage was not.
It's all good. Some people ask me when they ask me how I'm doing, and I say, I don't know. I'm here. It's all good. There were actually a couple of things here that I wanted to bring out. There's a bunch here. But John actually had a very good idea for Love Bugaboo, Kayla, Elise. Kayla, send me an email to lafer@gmail.com, and Jenna will send you, at John's suggestion, an autographed picture.
If you want that.
If you want it, if you don't. But she says, yes, ma'am, you're the best.
Then I'm happy to. I would love
if
to.
You want. No, she said she was not saying yes, ma'am, about the autograph. She was just about what you were saying. She said yes, ma'am, you're the best. If you want an autograph picture, at John's suggestion, feel free to send it.
That was nice. Anyway, you can send your address to Laifer, L-A-I-F-E-R @gmail. Laifer@gmail.
And we'll get it out to you.
And remind me who you are in the email.
Right. So Duck Down says, hey Jen, are you still with NBC?
No longer with NBC.
This is not the NBC headquarters. As great a job as I did in putting together this
Schlockfest.
Kayla says that's absolutely amazing, absolutely. So it's Laifer@gmail.
Laifer
@gmail.com.
I was Cleopatra.
What is it? Young
and Actress.
Oh, I thought I was coming at you.
Did you?
Actually, we didn't do this in the books thing. There was a great book I read on Cleopatra. There's a really good book on Cleopatra that came out a couple of years ago.
I walked into the living room last night, and Steph was wrapping a book, had to be yay thick. And I said, ooh, please, Steph. And she said, what? I go, please don't let that be for me.
Right, you should have seen your face when we were talking about what we were going to do the book bracket.
Let me see what that next line is on the last song.
John, I am going to get to everything. Just stay on me, man.
Wait, I want to see one thing. I just want to see the
I
next line.
am challenged right now. I'm doing the best I can.
CleopatraYrics. Yeah, here it is. I was Cleopatra. I was young and an actress when you knelt by my mattress and asked for my hand. I was sad you asked it as I laid in a black dress with my father in a casket. I had no plans.
One more time, just so I can catch it.
The whole thing of Cleopatra. Can I bring my guitar and play for
you?
You
But now I want to just post it.
I was Cleopatra. I was young and an actress when you knelt by my mattress and asked for my hand. I was sad you asked it as I laid in a black dress with my father in a casket. I had no plans, but I was late for this, late for that, late for the love of my life. And when I die alone, when I die alone, when I die, I'll be on time. I'm on time.
Thank you.
I just went right to that line because you love when I die, I'll finally be on time.
That was awesome.
Okay. Other comments
I have something I need
to bring up with me?
No, I will in a second. I'm trying to get Darren and John taken care of with something with Connor. 1 second, give me a break here.
Give me a break, I sure do need one. Remember that show? It's a good show.
Okay.
I love when I get these texts from Steph. Please let me know next time I'm on live. All the time, every time you call, anytime. Yes.
Takes two first names. I've enjoyed watching your segments on the network that won't be named. I'd love an autograph picture. Also, no, guys. What we're doing is generally, I can't get the autographs out to everyone. We're just going to put them up for auction until we get it on eBay. We have a few here and there. We're going to put them up. It's just like easier for us to facilitate. Aaron Hoyle says, Jenna, have you seen the new family holiday game, Look Up Poop the Potato?
No, but that sounds fun.
Sounds like a fun game.
My kid likes anything with the word poop in it.
Right, there's a whole bunch of books actually that are like...
Of course you always have to bring it back to books.
I'm sorry for ruining it. Susan Sullins Hale says, sometimes doors have to close to bring us where we need to really be. Thanks for being here. She says they were wrong. Marvin Kirschenbaum says, heavy conversation, gotta go run a bunch of errands stuff.
Oh, Marvin.
To all watching, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Next week we'll be watching from sunny Florida. Bye all. And Takes Two First Names says, sounds perfect, we'll look out for that.
Awesome.
That meaning the autographs on eBay.
Yeah.
Be Here Now says, what your perspective of kick.
Thank you, Be Here Now. I'm changing my Twitter line to Be Here Now.
Yeah, Marvin Kirschenbaum was saying it's the Triangle Shirt Company in New York.
Yeah, I knew Marvin would know. Be Here Now, if you're watching, get ready to go on my Twitter account. Hold on, wait for it. Wait. It's gonna be, should I just hashtag it Be Here Now?
Be Here Now, yeah.
Should I do it as a hashtag?
What?
Should I do it as a hashtag or just write Be Here Now for my...
Be Here Now is a hashtag, yeah. Start it off. Be Here Now.
My thing was decide what to be and go be it.
Tony Kendall says, commercial, missed a segment. I want to see a rerun of this show. Visit the General Wolf Show Twitter page or YouTube channel.
Hashtag Be Here.
Tony said he just tuned in after coming home from the Christmas rush at work, which is at Target. John has to leave soon. John, have a happy Hanukkah. He's not sure how much he'll be on next week while he's in Boca. John, we're assuming you're going to be on 4 hours a day while you're on vacation. We actually brings up, we're not going to be on Monday.
Excuse me.
National holiday, we're not going to be on Monday. We will be on...
Okay, Be Here Now. Go and look on my Twitter page now. I just changed my profile.
Be Here Now says, I'm still here. I tweeted you earlier, smiley face.
Amazing. Oh, should I just see? Let me see.
John.
Thanks, guys. We're wrapping ourselves up too here in a second. I just literally changed it. Good. What's your name on Be Here Now?
Be Here Now. What's your Twitter
DK
handle?
just wrote, so much respect for this amazing girl. She's so strong and so brave. I think I'm gonna cry. That is so beautiful. Unless it's not me. No, it's someone else. Is it me? Anyway, if it's me or someone else, what a beautiful thing to say to anybody.
Yep, everybody just don't take it all too seriously.
Why, what happened?
No, just life. That'd be my, everything doesn't always work out perfectly, but wake up the next morning and life is in the perfection.
It's okay. Be Here Now is the same thing. It's Be Here _now on Twitter too.
No, I see him.
Oh, you got it, okay.
I'm on it.
S. Rodé says, take it one day at a time.
And if one day at a time is too much for you, just take tomorrow, take today, wake up. It's all going to be good. You're going to have...
Lance, I love that you say that. It's hard for people. It's
100%.
No. It's hard for people who are going through something to understand the temperature of, it's all good, it's all good.
It's not all good, a lot of it sucks.
I understand, but it's almost, and I know you don't mean it this way, but it's like borderline shoving under the rug or a little bit condescending, and I don't mean you're doing it, because Lance happens to have one of the brightest outlooks of anyone I know, and that happens to, please let me finish my sentence, don't interrupt me, please. Really, really intellectual people who are able to intellectualize their feelings. Lance is one of the smartest men I've ever met, and he's so far ahead of where a lot of people are, and sometimes he's so far ahead of himself that he can over-intellectualize his feelings. A lot of people can't. It doesn't mean they're not intellectual, it just means they feel more than they think, and Lance thinks more than he feels. There's no right or there's no wrong, but people are one or the other, and I think really smart people have a way of going right to their brain to over-intellectualize something. So when someone who feels for a living, who literally like every day they wear everything on their sleeves, and someone says, it's all good, every day is going to be great, it doesn't, I know you truly believe that, but so when someone like that hears it, it's too much, it's too big, and it's too hard for someone to absorb that. So what I do when you say where does it come from is I break what you're saying down into little bitty pieces, which is what I do with my diet book. Instead of saying just eat less and move more, forget it. I'm going to break that down for you into tiny little steps, because that's how a lot of society interprets things, in small itty bitty pieces. We don't interpret a huge meteor-sized chunk of change, but if you chip off just a little tiny piece and I spoon feed it to you, and not in a bad way, I hand it to you on a spoon, you're like, you know, I can eat this, and I can change, and I can do this. If I threw a meteor at your face, you'd say, I'm overwhelmed, it hurts, that's heavy, and it's uncomfortable, right? So it's the same thing with feelings. If you're overwhelmed by something in life, I'm going to spoon feed something so you can focus on that one little thing, as opposed to saying, everything's going to be great, like it's all going to work out. I have a little wooden plaque in my kitchen. I don't put words up in my house unless they are so profound that they stick to me and stick to my soul. And there's a little plaque in my kitchen, and it says, hate to spoil the ending, but everything's going to be okay. And when stuff gets so great that I just feel like the kitchen and the kids and the screaming and the TV and the running around and the diapers and the bottles and I look right there. And now maybe I replace that with Be Here Now, but it says not to spoil the ending, but everything's going to be okay.
And Kayla chimes in with, so true, life is amazing. And John is saying, okay, see you all soon. Happy and healthy New Year. Much success to the show in 2017. At the risk of boring everybody, and I know you might be angry at me about this, since we're having this discussion about like what takes you on through life, and maybe I am too intellectual sometimes. I'm a Ohio State Buckeye fan, and I sometimes read the coaches' stuff. So there was a coach when I was growing up in Ohio named Woody Hayes, who was like one of the great coaches of all time. Unfortunately, he went out with a little bit of an ignominious end when he punched a Clemson football player. but now that the Buckeyes are playing Clemson in this, hopefully in a couple of weeks. But he mentioned he used to also be a history teacher at Ohio State, and his favorite essay was an essay written by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was a writer in 19th century America, one of the great American writers. And he said that his favorite essay was this essay on compensation. And I've read way too much in my life. And the best 2 paragraphs on life I've ever read are in this essay. And at the risk of really getting killed by you, I figure maybe I learned enough during the course of the last year to maybe get time for people to read and understand these 2 paragraphs. I'll read them. We can take them apart step by step. We still have another 15 minutes. Anybody who wants to leave, the next 15 minutes is on me. Jenna, don't get too angry at me. I'm going to try to read it. I think you will see this. He's talking at a time in the 19th.
I read it?
If you want to read it, that'd be great.
Let me get my glasses. Why don't I read it, since no one can see anything except for me.
That's fine, yeah.
Oh shoot, I don't have my glasses. I don't have it. Let me see if I can read it with your font. If not, you'll read it.
So here, I'll take a screenshot of it so you can blow it up.
Okay, all right. I get it. I got bad eyesight. Calm down.
I'm practically blind with one eye.
Everybody just calm down with my eyesight.
So, and for some perspective on this, his child had died. I think his wife had died in childbirth. He'd gone through a lot.
Sweet Jesus. When you say 2 paragraphs, you
yeah.
meant like 2 small novellas, right?
2 real big paragraphs, yeah. So if you want it.
Okay.
The bottom 2 paragraphs.
Oh, the bottom 2? Okay. Ready? We cannot part with our friends. I feel like I'm at Passover and it's up to me and I get to read a long passage. It's very exciting. We cannot part with our friends. We cannot let our angels go. We do not see that they, here we go. We do not see that they only go out, that archangels may come in. You know what, I can't read. It's too small for me. You're gonna have to read it.
I'll read it.
Because I keep blowing it up and then when I blow it back down.
I've read it a bunch of times, so it'll be easier for me. We cannot part with our friends. We cannot let our angels go. If you want to read, I'll read it. I'll read it sentence by sentence. You can read it after me.
No, I don't care. I thought if I
We cannot let our angels go. We do not see that they only go out, we do not see that they only go out, that archangels may come in. We are idolaters of the old. We do not believe in the riches of the soul, and its proper eternity and omnipresence. We do not believe there is any force in the day-to-day to rival or recreate that beautiful yesterday. We linger in the ruins of the old tent where once we had bread and shelter and organs, nor believe that the Spirit can feed, cover, and nerve us again. We cannot find aught so dear, so sweet, so graceful, but we sit up and weep in vain. The voice of the Almighty saith, up and onward forevermore. We cannot stay amid the ruins, neither will we rely on the new. So we walk with ever reverted eyes like those monsters who look backwards. Is this okay? Or one? Okay. And yet the compensations of calamity are made apparent to the understanding also after long intervals of time. A fever, a mutilation, a cruel disappointment, a loss of wealth, a loss of friends, seems at the moment unpaid loss and unpayable. But the sure years reveal the deep remedial force that underlies all facts. The death of a dear friend, wife, brother, lover, which seemed nothing but privation, somewhat later assumes the aspect of a guide or genius, for it commonly operates revolutions in our way of life, terminates an epoch of infancy or of youth which was waiting to be closed, breaks up a wonted occupation or a household or a style of living, and allows the formation of new ones more friendly to the growth of character. It permits or constrains the formation of new acquaintances and the reception of new influences that prove of the first importance to the next years, and the man or woman who would have remained a sunny garden flower with no room for its roots and too much sunshine for its head, by the falling of the walls and the neglect of the gardener is made the banyan of the forest, yielding shade and fruit to wide neighborhoods of men. Now,
I don't think there's one person on here who's like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The banyan tree is like this huge tree in the forest. So the seed needed space, like this, as for the garden to grow. It was being constrained by a wall. But once that wall fell down, and once you went into this new chapter of life, the whole forest emptied out, and this tree that wasn't going to grow now had room to grow. And that's what happens in life. It's like when one thing falls down, it opens up this other thing. I know it's hard to sort of...
No, the message is clear. Ralph is not as clear as...
When you read it a few times, it's...
Perhaps. But yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. And don't apologize at all.
I will post it on the Instagram feed as something for people to read. Yeah. I think it's... When things are going bad for you, I know when things have gone bad for me in life, I just get to those two chapters, those two paragraphs, and I read them and I understand them, and it snaps me out of whatever misery or whatever. Those are the two chapters. That's why I was asking you earlier, what do you kind of like hang on to? To me, it's those friend loses, like our friend mine was like going through something miserable last year. She lost her dog. I sent her those two paragraphs. She's like, oh, thank you. You know, like whatever it is you're going through, that's extremely important. I think that those two.
Figure out what you need to get through it. Hang on to that.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
May not be the best TV ever. But.
Wasn't the best TV ever, but don't ever be sorry. This guy's all crooked at the end.
This one? Oh, this one. Yeah, this one. Is it straighter?
Yeah, that's better. All right, well, I think that was, any comments after that?
No, I think I drove away everybody.
A few people. But that was really poetic and prophetic, and I'm very happy that you shared that with us.
All right, maybe not.
I said I have not had one negative thing to say. I was very appreciative, and thank you.
So.
Look, this is it. It's Christmas. It's Hanukkah. It's the holidays. Next time we see you, it will be post-Christmas and post-Hanukkah, for the most part, post-holidays. It's exciting. Grab on to your family members, because things don't matter and people do, and forget the infighting and the conversations and the talk of politics and all the craziness that drives us apart, and figure out the things that brings us together, and enjoy your holiday and eat smart and speak smart and hug each other and laugh and play and exchange gifts and all of it. And Lance, I love you to death.
Jenna,
Get some good work done.
I will be working
hard. You have
hard.
a very special 3-day holiday. You'll always get this. We're not going to be on Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday morning. Today's Friday,
right? Today's Friday.
Yeah.
We have a few comments here.
Sure.
At least somebody. Okay. Susan Sullen's Hale says, it means something to you. Thanks for sharing. Love you, Lance.
Yep.
Thank you. Love you, Jenna. This has been so far an amazing year. I think we're on to an amazing thing. I look forward to us becoming the banyan tree of this Periscope forest.
I too want to be the banyan tree.
I think you're amazing. And let's have a great weekend, and let's everybody enjoy your holidays, enjoy your families.
We will see you right back here Tuesday at 11 a.m. We'll try to be on time this time. It's usually my fault. I always have the extra coffee. It takes me forever to make it. Tuesday, 11 a.m., and then we're going to take you to the end of the year. Come along for us. This is going to be one hell of a ride. Thanks for riding shotgun with us. We really appreciate it. Be safe, everyone. Happy holidays. Mwah. Besos.
Good.